on the headwaters of the Mississippi, up there around Lake Bemidji, Lake Itasca. Our plan is to start and paddle out of Lake Itasca, Lake Itasca, and then head on out. But due to the, we're not sure that those headwaters are passable right now. So if y'all have information on that, we would love to hear. Chris is coming back to us, hopefully upright. But if he's sideways, it's fine. We'll make it work. But so yes, if you have any information.
There it is.
Oh, there we go.
So
Got this. All right.
I had to rotate my phone.
There we go.
Rotated my phone, but now I'm sideways.
All right. So you up right now? All good? All right. I was sideways last week, so.
Yeah, we'll just do it like that.
That works too. All right. Well, we've never actually gotten to meet, so we've been talking through Nathan a little bit, so we finally get to meet.
Yeah.
So I will introduce Chris. Chris is with River Action, and he is one of the head planners of the event Floatzilla, so we have a lot of hiker following, and what they know the best is trail days that usually happens in Damascus, Virginia. So we've explained Floatzilla as sort of being a trail days for the Mississippi River. So we just want to hear it from you and what your passion is. I'm using the river as a kind of a curriculum for the kids right now. So, and the things that we have discovered and learned are absolutely phenomenal to me. So I just kind of want to hear it from you and someone who has a passion for the river, what your role is and what y'all do.
Well, again, if I look funny, it's because I actually have my phone the opposite direction.
You're good.
Well, so where I live in the Quad Cities, right on the border of Iowa, Illinois, on the Mississippi River, born and raised here. So I'm just used to having the Mississippi right here. You know, probably take it for granted. I've fished, I've kayaked, I've boated, I've skied, you know, all that stuff. We have a couple other rivers here nearby, so it's just something else to do. No big deal. Getting involved with River Action though really has brought it more to my attention, and that's the whole point of River Action. We really do have something great here, and the point is to not take it for granted. And as a community all around here, we need to utilize it as much as possible, whether it's for fun, just to play with your family or your neighbors, for commerce, for tourism. I mean, anything we can, you know, use this river for is here, so we need to make the best of it. And that's a big mission for River Action, and Floatzilla is part of that. We do adventure triathlon also. We do that on the Mississippi as well. And we do other paddling stuff, like smaller training type stuff. And we just really want people to get on the scooter and utilize it. I mean, it's right here, so we can make people feel more comfortable about it. That's what we're trying to do.
I absolutely had no idea, well, except for Smokey here, he enlightened me, but I did not know that there was a river trail that starts at the headwaters and goes to Louisiana. I don't think a lot of people know about it, and especially once, maybe if you've grown up in that world, then it's a well-known thing. But hiking and being a thru hiker is just, the next big thing is to go on to the next long distance trail. And so I found that a lot of people that thru paddle the river are actually thru hikers in the past. And I find that really interesting. So kind of what I want to do, and a passion that kind of has been stirred in me, is to make people aware that it exists and the outdoor enthusiasts and the things you can do on the river. Because I think a lot of people look at mountains and oceans to go to, but not the Mississippi River. So as far as environmental stuff, do y'all have any role there? Do you help in that realm?
Yeah, so River Action, I mean, is an environmental group at core. So we do historical stuff during the year. We do tours. We do education. We do a fall conference where a lot of guest speakers will come in and talk about different aspects, environmental aspects. A lot of it is river themed or water themed, but at its core, River Action is for taking care of the environment and enjoying being outside and conserving water. And that's a big thing too. We do the rain barrels. we've given out thousands of those throughout the years, and
That's cool.
so when it rains, people can save some water. It'll slow down the water runoff going into the sewage systems, and if we can get people outside to play and have fun, we are hoping that organically that turns into more curiosity, more conservation mindset, more like, hey, let's buy a kayak, let's buy a bicycle, let's start doing this more often, and then we have more people that will advocate for those kind of things, and it all should just come together organically that way.
That is so cool.
What part of the river are you on? Are you at the top of the river, the middle of the river? Where are you at?
I would say the middle, Iowa and Illinois. So we're in an area called the Quad Cities. Home of John Deere is kind of our big claim to fame. John Deere tractors. Yeah, we're kind of right in the middle, I would say.
So I understand there's been some bad storms up there in the north here just recently, and we're trying to find out if the river is blocked up by the headwaters or if we can still start at the headwaters and go down from there.
Oh yeah, I don't know about what's going on in Minnesota.
Okay, well, I've talked to the people up there, but I'll talk to some more and I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean the water looks fine here. It's not. We haven't had any
no trees floating down the river.
No, we didn't really have any flooding this spring like we get sometimes. So we've been lucky this year. So so far it's been a great season for getting out on the water here in this area.
Our goal, I'm super excited. Our goal, we're going to start around the 1st of August, and I know Floatzilla is August the 15th, that weekend. So our goal is going to be to float as far as we can and hopefully keep a support vehicle around us so that we can attend the event. So I hope it'll bring out a lot of people, and I hope to meet a lot of people while we're out there too. So
Floatzilla, are you going to have vendors there?
Yeah, we'll have, so at the very end of Floatzilla, and that's in Rock Island, Illinois, that's where it ends, and we all get together in a backwater area, and we get together for the group photo, and so like a little party. We're calling it Floatzilla Palooza this year, because we're going to have even more fun stuff to do. There'll be a band.
This is actually a float down the river for a while, and then end up at a place at the end.
Correct. Yep.
So how many boats do you expect to be attending to that?
Well, I'd like to see 2,000. I would like to see
Really?
that.
Oh, yeah. How exciting can that be?
Yeah. Last year we had about 1,400.
Oh,
so let's shoot for 2,000.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, and so in our area where we have our event, we shut down the river for barge traffic. So there will not be any barge traffic. We'll have about 20 safety boats on the water. So Coast Guard will be here, Corps will be here, local fire, local police, a lot of volunteers will be here. So it's as safe as we can make the Mississippi. The safest it's ever going to be during this time. So, I mean, people can go through the lock. A lot of people think that's a cool experience, and it is.
That's like what my kids are looking forward to the most is the locks.
Yeah.
They cannot wait to talk to the locks.
How wide is the Mississippi where you're at?
I don't know. It's not. So I know it's not as wide here as it is when you go further north and further south, because what they did back, when we had all these industries here, they dredged it all out so that way the barge traffic would have plenty of deep water, and they have these dams in this area for the barge traffic for all the manufacturing. So when they dug
that's the big river though.
It narrowed it up.
But by the time we get down there, that's the big wide river we'll be in.
I think it opens up when you get further south from where we are at.
Okay, so
because our area of the Mississippi, there's a lot of industry on it. Okay, so when you're north of us, you'll see more just trees and lush green and all that. When you come to our area, you'll see us that we put the Mississippi to work, and that's why we have this community, is because John Deere and Farmall and Case IH, we used to have all these factories right on the Mississippi, so they were hauling stuff up and down, back and forth. So you'll see a lot of that in our area, and then as you go further down south, you'll see it kind of widen back up and be a little bit more just, untouched.
So do you still have a lot of those kind of plants along the river, like the John Deere? Is it still an active plant and all of that? Is it?
Yeah, we still have a lot of factories, and there's some like stone quarries and places that bring in barges full of sand and rock, and so it still is very much trafficked for industry. But it's narrower here because they dug it deep and they put in the locks and all that.
That's kind of, in all the study I've done, that's kind of the scary part to me, is getting a lot of kids. So the crew that I'll have out there with me is my 7 youngest. So they're 14 all the way down to 6. And we've paddled before. We love to paddle. We've just always hiked instead. So in getting them out there, it's kind of amazing to me, the whole world that exists that you don't really think about until you get in a little tiny kayak and you see these barges and the industries, and it's kind of exciting too. I've done enough study to know we're fine out there, we'll be okay. And the radios, the kids are really excited about talking to the big barges on the radios too.
Oh yeah.
So being able to hear their traffic. So that part of it is really exciting. But as far as how it impacts the people, that's kind of been our element of study too, is the factories and the plants and how they've affected the river and that kind of stuff. So I love what y'all's mission is in order to tie in both of kind of the industrial aspect along with hobbyists and people that have a passion for being out there. So
we can have both worlds, right?
Absolutely.
We can have this, and that's River Action's take, is all of us can coexist and work together, and there can be a factory and there can be a park, and it's not, we can collaborate and coexist together, and we should be thankful for these businesses that were here 100 years ago that built this community that we have. So how can we appreciate what was, what is, and then what can we push forward to the future, and make it more of a recreational based, and still at the same time, if we have the opportunity to bring in more businesses, that's good too. So how can we do this that's good for everybody? That's kind of River Action's thing.
Well, we're in the Danville, Virginia area, and we have the Dan River running through it. And they're trying to utilize the river. So in studying the Mississippi and seeing what Floatzilla does, it's kind of inspired me to see what can be done with our river. And to know that there's people passionate out there, like how can you utilize it, and these sources that are there that nobody is really capitalizing on. So it's really exciting. But how are the locals impacted and benefited by River Action? Like what all do you, is y'all's involvement with them?
River Action's been around over 40 years, so about as long as I've been alive. As a local to the area, though, I've always known of River Action, and I've always known of Floatzilla, and it's just been a staple in our community, just for good, for being outside, all those good things. So when I started getting involved about 2 years ago, it's been so awesome, because I grew up hearing about River Action, and now I get to help be a part of it. So, for example, one of the big things River Action did 30 years ago, we now have these riverfront trails that you can jog on or ride your bicycle.
Yeah.
I grew up with those, so I take it for granted. Those didn't used to be there. So what River Action did, they started these events called Ride the River, and they would shut down roads through like 3-4 different cities, and people would have the opportunity to ride their bicycles on Father's Day along the Mississippi River. And there was no designated trail. So that was a big deal to be able to do that. But doing that event year after year is the catalyst that brought us the trails that we do have today, because River Action created that demand and organized it, and they raised a lot of money to give all these cities a kickstart to actually build these nice paved trails that we have today.
Absolutely. And then when you utilize that, you're drawing people in, which draws the businesses in as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, a lot of I used to own a coffee shop, and a lot of our mission was to build an inclusive playground and to involve the community. So it's a lot of stuff like that. It was parks, it was greenways, it was all that stuff. And once you begin to bring the people, the businesses come, and they all just feed off of each other. but without those kind of areas and the education behind it too. But I didn't even realize in the documentaries we were watching the nitrogen and the ag processes and all that go on that affect the river too. And so to be able to educate people about those things and make them more aware of it and just to create a general overall awareness is huge. So I love that y'all are out there.
We have to figure out how to work with that, how to work with with the ag and the factories, and we just got to figure out a way to work together and make this the best that we can for everybody. That's kind of what River Action wants to do.
And that's so cool too, because to me the Mississippi River has always been where the big boats are. You don't go there; it's the big boats. So to know this trail existed was like, you can float this thing.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that and we were looking for. It's like surely there's groups out there, organizations, and so to finally have found y'all has been really cool. Because it's like, all right, there are people out there that actually put it to work, and we're not just these crazy people going and bobbing along with the barges.
Yeah, I mean, I've water skied on the Mississippi, or go float around in a tube and pull behind a boat, or there's places where there's little islands with sandbars that you could get in, waist deep and wade on a hot day, and it's usable. We use it, but we still want people to use it even more.
See, and that's helpful to know too, because our following, and I think having as many young kids as I do, there's a lot of fear that goes into it. Where are you taking the kids? What are you doing with them? And I want to be able to present opportunities for families to get outside and take kind of the fear out of getting your kids outside. There was a lot of fear that went into me hiking the AT with my kids. My youngest was 4 at the time. And there's been some talk. There hasn't been a lot, but there's been fear voiced over getting young kids out on the river. And it's helpful to know and hear from people that are behind the scenes really working at it and spending their life doing it. And that's their passion, to hear that these are things that can be used. And you can get your kids out there. Common sense and, on your back end, take the precautions you need to take. But these are very usable resources to be able to become active outdoors.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't want to understate the power of the river.
Absolutely.
But it's you need to have a healthy respect for it, and
absolutely.
People talk about there's a current. Okay, well, you have a life jacket on, and you have people that are nearby that could throw you a rope or something if you needed it. If someone's wearing a life jacket, they're not just gonna get.
Just be smart. That's it. Just be smart. Yeah.
You're gonna float around in your life jacket.
I saw on the news the other day there was a couple in Lake Michigan, and they were on a jet ski, and they actually survived 7 hours in the water because they had on life jackets. So it's just like, be smart about what you do. Use your brain, and you'll be all right. Just be smart.
Yeah. I mean, yes. So there is an element of risk, but there's an element of risk in everything. Pulling out of your driveway in the morning, there's an element of risk. So learn the basics, learn what you need to know, have the right safety equipment, make sure your PFD, your personal flotation device, aka life jacket, is properly fitted and it's strapped on, and throw in some common sense. Just take a safety course, learn what you need to learn, and you can do it. Just the big thing is stay away from the dams, because those make a real big current where those really could suck you in. So you just don't get too close to the dam. And if you see boats and stuff, just stay away from stuff.
And even those dams, I know here where we are, the Dan River, they have buoys going across it. I mean, it's not like they catch you unaware. There's safety precautions taken. Nobody wants you out there. Nobody wants to see anybody hurt out there.
Correct. Yes.
And
where you see that line, don't go up to the line. Still stay away from the line. And I mean, it's people, if they have a interest or desire to do stuff on the water, they shouldn't let fear stop them. They should educate themselves and their families what you need to know, take the proper steps and precautions, and the best thing is get with someone that already knows this kind of stuff, as a friend or as a group or a club or whatever. Go out with some people that already know the water. Do that first.
Absolutely, yeah.
You'll say, okay.
And the resources. There's
Yeah.
like so many resources. I know for us and taking this on, I just begin to study and research what's out there. And people that have gone before us and done it, people that have gotten kids out there and kayak, and people kayak camp all the time. People are on the Mississippi, so I started talking to them about it. So there's so many resources and knowledge, and then y'all like this river action and the education aspect. Just touch base with somebody if you're unsure.
Yeah, all the
And go into
information
about it.
it's there, especially with YouTube and channels like you have, and the information's out there. And just invest the time to learn what you need to learn, and don't let fear hold you back. Just get educated, and then you'll be fine.
And I think fear for a lot of people is what limits everybody from doing so much stuff in life. And here we are out here doing these epic things, but it's just like, it's not that I do it without fear. It's just you recognize it and then take the necessary action to address it and move forward. So it's not that you don't ever have it, because people will say, oh, you're so fearless. It's like, no, I mean, I'm getting my kids out there on open water too, but educate yourself. And that's all part of it. And I think that's really cool that River Action is behind it, and just the education aspect and kind of how all covering y'all are as far as the education and what you do and the awareness you bring to it.
Yeah.
So,
I took my 4-year-old kayaking 2 weekends ago for the first time, and this was in a lake, so it was pretty calm. But she had a life jacket on. I had a life jacket on. She sat between my legs. Like, what is there to be worried about?
exactly. Well, so like right now, my little one is 6 now, and we've had a lot of questions asked. Will she be in her own kayak? And a lot of what we do, you don't know. I think as a parent with a kid, you go into it, and I don't want to ever stifle her independence. I want her to know that she can do anything she wants to, but do it within reason and safely. So we will start in the calm water, and we're going to put her out. She paddles right now on her own. She has her own kayak that she can manage, and she's comfortable in it. And then as we work our way down, and it's kind of like when we did the Appalachian Trail. When we started out, it's not that hard. It's just one foot in front of the other. And then you see if she's struggling, you step back and you reevaluate. And that's how this whole trail is approached. I think life, just as a parent with a kid, is you see what they're capable of. If they're struggling, you adjust and make needed any changes, and then you keep going. So if she needs to be put in my canoe, we'll stick her in there. If she's doing all right, she'll keep going in hers. So you just stay flexible in order to make it happen and let her experience her own independence, but doing it safely.
That's about all you can do when you have kids, right?
Yeah, especially as a parent with a 4-year-old.
Yeah, you have a plan, but know that your plan might go any direction.
Always.
Just be prepared for that, and have time to make changes, and just go with the flow. And remember, it's all an experience you're gonna look back on and say that was amazing, and it's all
I look
good.
at it like you're never gonna know those experiences if you don't at least try. So get out there and try, and it's probably not gonna go it actually won't go according to plan, but you're gonna have fun doing it anyway, and you'll have some stories to tell.
Yeah, you might plan on a 5-mile hike, and you know what? Your kids only let you go 1 mile. That's still a win.
We've done that too.
That's still a win.
Or you end up carrying the kids, but yeah.
That's still a win.
So how many years has Floatzilla actually happened? Like the event itself, how old is it?
16 or 17 years. This might be the 17th.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty established. I'm so looking forward to it. So, like, like trail days, it's the only thing I know to compare it to, but it's just one big party. It's where people love why they're out there. Everybody's out there to have a good time. And so I think for the river, it's going to be everybody that's passionate about the river. And we've already had people say they're going to come out there and meet us. So it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, it's a great day. And we like to think of it as, if this is the one time per year you get your kayak out of the garage, that's fine. Or if this is the first time of the summer that you get it out, that's fine. If this was the reason you went and bought a new kayak for your kid this year, we hope that this will create new habits and new activities, and be that thing that prompts of oh yeah, let's get that kayak out. We haven't took it out in years. Let's do Floatzilla. And then you sign up for it and you commit, right? That's why events and races are good, because it adds a level of commitment to it. When you sign up for it, even if it's $20 or $30 or whatever, you signed up for it, you're gonna do it.
Mhm.
It holds you accountable,
Very
and
true.
it's something to look forward to. And there's no, oh, I didn't get a good night's sleep, I don't want to do it. Like you're gonna do it. You signed up for it, so that's
I think
why.
it's the energy that kind of goes around it too, because it was just you. It's kind of like setting up a gym date with yourself.
Yep.
And my self discipline isn't all that great, so I let myself down a lot as far as that goes. But if there's other people and the energy is out there and it's good and everybody's participating, you're way more motivated and likely to do it than you ever are just saying you got to get out on the river for some upper body strength.
Yeah, exactly. You have 6 other friends that are meeting with you at 7 in the morning. You're
Yeah,
gonna be there.
absolutely. Yep.
So that's the
So
way to do it.
all right, so as far as our involvement in this, and this is kind of I'll let you kind of say how we'll be involved if we get there, but I want to preface this going into it that we are going to start up in Minnesota around the first week of August. That's 2 weeks to get there, which isn't looking too good, but I think our plan is to maybe have a support vehicle with us for those first 2 weeks, and then we have a way and some wheels and some transportation to get there. So it is highly likely that we are going to be there right now. But with everything we ever do, it's fluid, it's flexible, and maintained. So our goals and intentions are to be there right now. So if we show up, can you kind of tell people how we'll be involved, or just what does that look like to you?
Yeah. So if you guys get here Friday afternoon, which would be ideal, we have our packet pickup. That's at Credit Island in Davenport, Iowa. I think it starts at 4 p.m. And we also have a fishing tournament, which is free for kids. We have an outdoor expo. There's like a swap. People can buy stuff to sell and stuff. And then people can camp also at Credit Island. So we have that's an option for you guys to camp. There's also another spot in Davenport, or there's a place on the Illinois side. So camping will be easy for you guys. But if you're here Friday evening, it'd be cool to have you guys do like a meet and greet, and
I would
because
love
we'll have
to.
everyone there. Yeah, we'll have everyone there picking up their packets. So it'd be cool for you guys to be there, do a meet and greet, and just hang out on Friday. And then Saturday, you guys could launch in the morning and float all the way down. And you could do the 11-mile option. Judge how the kids are feeling. Do you want to do the 11-mile option or the 7-mile option, or do you want to do the 5-mile option, or do you want to do the 3-mile option? We have options. Depends on how long of a day
Lots
you
of
want.
options.
Yeah, we have different launch sites for that reason, and then the different launch sites also, so you don't have 1,500 people all trying to get in the same spot. So it helps spread everybody out. And you paddle down and come to Potter Lake in Rock Island, Illinois. We'll do the group photo. And we can do a meet and greet with you guys. Get on the PA and
Fun.
say hi to everybody. And
Oh yeah.
say, hey, I have 15 kids and I'm bringing them down the river, and just get be a part of our event and inspire more people.
That would be way fun. I know my kids, so the 14 and the 13-year-olds that are going, well, even the 10 and the 8, they love to fish. Like even my little girl, in fact, she turned 12 yesterday. She loves to fish. So they want to do the fishing tournament. They've got a whole agenda that they want to do. They'll be fishing their way down the river. So yeah, the fishing will be fun. I want to encourage other families just to get out there. Even if you don't have kayaks, and this is kind of how we started as a family, because being so large, our finances were always kind of they struggled a little. So we couldn't do a lot of stuff. The kids couldn't have kayaks for a long time. But you can fish. Like anybody can fish. And so we ended up in our very early days just getting kids out and fishing. So people are welcome to show up, I think, and probably just fish, right? Oh yeah. So yeah, I just want to encourage everybody watching, just get your kids out there and come meet us if we're able to make it. But yeah, and y'all can go fishing with us too, even if you don't have a kayak.
Get your kid to pick up a worm, Get your kid to get their hands dirty. Like that's all.
Yep.
All in, And even if you don't catch anything, they were patient. Maybe you helped them put the worm on the hook and taught them how to cast. Like that's all part of the fun experience.
Yep. I know for my kids, even when they don't catch anything, it creates the longing to go back out. It's a challenge at that point. It's like, well, now I gotta catch one. So every day they're out there just seeing if they can get one bigger or if they can even get one at all. So yeah, it's insatiable. So, all right. So I'll go in. The Mississippi River, as far as to me, before I let you go, is just, it's taken on a whole new life to me. And I so appreciate what y'all are doing, because I just never, honestly, to me, when we first started looking into this, it was just something I never thought about. And it was kind of in a boring part of the U.S. So to me, to see this side of it is so much fun. And to be able to say that we'll be through paddlers by the end of it, hopefully, that's the intention. But to be able to say that. So I hope to be able to work with y'all and partner with y'all throughout our paddle, and then afterwards to be able to advocate and really begin to show people what it is to be out there and bring an awareness to it for just what's available in the U.S. They're really cool stuff. And, you know, on like social media, and maybe because I'm in the hiking world, but it's so elevated. My whole news feed is getting out and glorifying hiking, which it looks a lot better than it feels a lot of the time. I'll say that much. So yeah, it looks good up until you start doing it. But now I want to be able to do that for water too in the rivers, because it's just an element that I think a lot of people don't think about, or like we discussed, them being scared because they have kids. So it's like, well, not yet, or the some days. So as far, it's become really close and near and dear to my heart. So I hope to be able to work with you quite a bit as we go through this process, and then after we finish it up and whatever that looks like, if we make it all the way to Louisiana, we always say that's the goal. I'm not sure we're going to get there. We didn't know if we'd make it to the end, but that's the goal, is to get to the end. So just
at least make it to the Quad Cities, okay?
Absolutely, yeah. So I told them that was our first goal on the AT, was the halfway point. Let's just get there, one step in front of the other. We'll get to the halfway point. We'll reassess. So that's kind of our thing here, especially not having older kids on this trip. Is we'll get to the halfway point. We'll evaluate everybody, see how we're doing, and if spirits are up, we just keep right on going.
There you go.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So how can people, if they want to attend or if they want to come out and meet us or whatever, how can people become involved in it? Do they need to register, or what access?
Yeah. So go to our website, floatzillaqc.org.
Mm-hmm.
That'll take you straight to Floatzilla, or riveraction.org. If you go to riveraction.org, then you can kind of see everything that River Action does. So go to both. Check out our Facebook page, River Action, Instagram, River Action. Just Google River Action, and just get involved. Get involved with Floatzilla. Get involved. If you're in the area, volunteer. If you want to donate, that's cool too. If you want to get involved with our triathlon that we do, just get tuned in. Get on our email list.
I may come for the triathlon. That's on the bucket list.
Well, yeah, and that's a kayaking, so you don't have to swim. Right?
Oh.
So you can kayak that. Yeah. So that helps a lot of people get out there to do triathlons.
That's good to know. Yeah.
So just get everything we do is good for the community. It's good for people. It's good for your family. It's good for the neighbors. It's just all positive stuff that we do. So just check us out. Get involved. Tell somebody.
Absolutely. River Action. So riveraction.com. And that's a one-stop. .org?
Yes.
Okay, riveraction.org. And you can go there to register and anything having to do with it and volunteer and all of that.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? See what River Action does? And if you're somewhere else in the country and you're like, you know what? We don't have anything like this in our community. Make it. Make your own River Action. I mean, that's what Kathy Wine and a few people did, 40 years ago. They said, let's make this thing from scratch. And here we are.
Actually, on that note, so the coffee shop I started, we had no inclusive playground in the county. We live in this little tiny rural tobacco farmland county. And the playground was just not in good shape. It was rural playground. And once I began to get involved, I made the coffee shop's mission to build the playground. And coming from someone who has taken on those kind of endeavors, it's not that hard. It really is not, to become involved, because there are other people typically working towards the same types of things you are. And once you connect with those people that are like-minded, you begin to form a snowball of effects that can really get stuff done. So I encourage anybody on that note. So if you don't have resources like that in your community, just get involved. And for me, it was, well, even in Danville, Danville's a little bit bigger than where we are. and they're a bigger city. But it's easy to get to know your councilmen and your county commissioners and just go up to them and start conversations. But it's absolutely possible to change things when you just have your mind made up and you have a goal and you want change for your own family. For me, a lot of it was wanting a better place for my kids, a better place to grow up. And it's not that it wasn't safe because we're out here in the farmlands. It's just we had no amenities. So for anybody that really doesn't have those kinds of things, I highly encourage too. Just start to talk to people, start asking questions, go up to your city council, ask those questions. Because it is, I mean, you can see what y'all have done. It went from this probably a little tiny thought process to being what you become over 40 years and then drawing people like you in too. So that's just so cool.
So we had our Father's Day bike ride, and we had, I think, 80 volunteers. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. That's a big old group for some volunteers.
These are people that have been, a lot of them have been volunteering with River Action for many, many years. And to get 80 people to volunteer on Father's Day, it shows you what this organization has accomplished over the years. And, you know, that
I think
can be
a lot too, like you become family. I think you probably agree, but you get to know each other so well. It's friendships, it's relationships, and you're like-minded. And so then you become like family and you look forward to those types of things too.
And then you feel so good because you know you're doing something so positive for the community, and it really is it's a high that you know it's doing an event and you see everyone there having a great time, and then the next day you're just thinking back on how awesome everything was. It's a very satisfying feeling.
It's very addictive too. To me, it was just like you wanted more. You wanted to do more good, and you wanted to be a better person. Like for me personally, it made me want to be better, to do better, and to create positive change in other people's lives. But it's so far reaching. You get in there and you put in those volunteer hours, and then after that, it's just like the ripple effect. So
yeah, it's all good stuff.
I love that y'all are out there, and I very much look forward to meeting y'all. So the goal is to be there on the 15th. But okay. So the other thing before we end it is if we can't be there on the 15th, and by the time we paddle through, I know there had been some talk about getting a group together just to paddle through there with us. So is that something that will happen, or are we just gonna wait and see how it pans out?
I think it's very possible that when you guys do make your way down here, if it's the 20th or the 25th or whenever it may be, I think we can find some people to paddle with you guys and show you around the area. I don't think that'd be a problem at all. I think that'd be fun.
All right, yeah, I do too. So, in the event we do not make it to Floatzilla, we'll keep everybody up to date and everything. But I think there's a group of people that kind of wanted to paddle with us through there. So we'll get with you and arrange it, and absolutely arrange like a celebratory paddle.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking time to be here with us tonight.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you. Looking forward to watching your journey.
Yeah, thank you. So hopefully we'll see you around the 15th.
Yeah, just keep us posted.
I will. All right, thanks. Bye. All right, so to end it tonight, we will, so the best way to recap that is to go to riveraction.org, and you can register for the Floatzilla event there. I'm going to fix my phone because it's on the phone tonight. Oh, so yeah, you can register there, and we would love to see y'all there, like for real. It's always a new experience for us, and being a little introverted, it's fun to be able to get to places and feel like I know people. I recognize your names from being on here. I see common names pop up all the time, and so it's fun to be able to meet the people that are just regularly in our newsfeed, the people that comment and support and love on us the way y'all do. So if you'll come out there, we'll get to meet you, which would be way fun. And then if you have a kayak, bring it and we'll paddle, because Floatzilla, and based on what Chris said, sounds like a lot of fun. So as I stated while talking to him, our plan is to have the van with us and for 2 weeks. So this is a huge if, and it'll work. But the van is supposed to stay with us for 2 weeks, and then wherever we are on the river, because I think Floatzilla and that whole area is about, I might be wrong, 600 miles in, 636. And if we start the trail making really good time, which is probably not going to happen, it would be about 400 miles. So we would still be within 200 miles of actually reaching Floatzilla to actually paddle into it. So if the van stays, which is a huge if right now, but it's the goal, we would pick up from where we are, shuttle over to Floatzilla, attend the event, and then shuttle back to where we left off and keep going. So y'all come out. It would be so much fun. If you have kayaks, if you don't, like he said, go buy some. All of our stuff comes used off of the marketplace. It allows us to try stuff, and if it doesn't work, we're not into it with a lot of money, and then we can sell it off too if we find it didn't work for the kids. So I highly recommend the marketplace. If you want some kayaks and it sounds like fun, canoes, whatever, I'll be in a canoe, a barge. I personally like kayaks, but since I have to be the heavy hauler of this trip, I'm going to be in a canoe. Oh, and it doesn't look like Baxter is going to get to go. My German Shepherd puppy that's 90 pounds, the goal was to be able to take him, but after lots of prep trips within the past 2 to 3 weeks, I'm just not real sure that's going to happen. So anyway, I will be in a canoe, and y'all go get you some kayaks or some canoes and come out and join us. So how to register for Floatzilla, the gear, like he said, bring a fishing pole. If you don't want a kayak, you don't have one, your funds are not available for any kind of boat, just bring a fishing pole, or not even that. If you don't want to fish, just come out and say hi. But not a lot of gear is needed for Floatzilla. All right, as far as prepping for this, I got a few more things to cover and we'll wrap it up. How the family preps for a paddle. There's been a lot of questions asked. We are doing prep paddles right now. So we have paddled a lot. Well, okay, that's relative. We've paddled, but not like we've hiked. In doing this, a lot of the questions revolve around Opie, not oatmeal, and whether she will be in her own boat. I've gotten private messages. They've been on the page. Everybody's curious. The 2 youngest boys are 10 and 8, and they're really good at it. Not oatmeal's arms still are building, just like her legs did on the beginning of the AT. Her arms are building up that kind of strength too, because it's one thing to go paddle for fun, it's another thing to paddle long distance. So our plan is, on that note, she will be in her own kayak. She has a little 8-foot, and we've gone through a few trying to figure out what fits her. She had one that was an 8-foot that we were actually less than 8 that I thought would be perfect, but there again, it's like her backpack. When we started the AT, I got the bet off the marketplace, but I got REI Tarn 18 backpack. It's heavy, it's canvas. When it gets wet, it gets even heavier. She hated that backpack. She did not like that backpack. So I think maybe 7 days in, about the time she got her name, not oatmeal, she gave up the backpack. So she hiked until I think mile 280 maybe, and then without a backpack. And when we got there, one day she woke up and she was ready to try her pack again. She put her pack on that day at Mountain Harbor, 19E, and she never took it off again. So I'm kind of anticipating stuff like that with her kayak and her paddling. She will probably paddle the first little while, and then she may not want to paddle at all, and her arms may be tired. In that case, our plan is to tie her boat up with a rope to the canoe, and I will tow her boat, and she'll just be in the canoe with me until she gets ready to paddle again. And when she's ready, she'll go right back in her little kayak. So we remain very flexible, and like we talked about with Chris, the nature of parenting is just to adjust. You're never going to make it if you zero in on one idea and say that's the way it's going to happen. Success does not happen that way, especially with this many kids. So with that, we have plan A, plan B, plan C, and probably plan D and F. And sometimes we didn't even plan for what happens, and we just adjust and make it work. So that's our plan with Dawn Oatmeal, and that's true for really the other 2 youngest too, the 10 and the 8-year-old. The 10-year-old will have no problem crashing Eddie. So Eddie will have no problem. He does anything he sets his mind to. Crash is probably a little different. So he struggled on the AT in the beginning too. So there were a lot of adjustments made for him. So just like the AT, we plan to modify, improvise, adapt, and overcome to make it happen. So not oatmeal, we'll start in her own boat, yes. And then we'll see what the water's like, what she's comfortable with, what her arms feel like, and then we're just gonna go from there. So she will have her own boat to begin with. But other than that, I think we pretty much wrapped it up. That was really fun talking to Chris. I love having guests on here. So, and especially ones that can kind of feed into it. There's really good documentaries on YouTube about the Mississippi River. I highly recommend, and I might put some links in the comments too, but y'all watch them because I have learned so much about it. And I think one of the most exciting aspects is being able to vlog this journey and to be able to let y'all live it with us. So on that note, we will wrap up tonight, and then we will be back next week, and I'll try to have another guest because it's way more fun when I have a guest. But another thought too is to be able to bring the kids in individually and be able to sit down, because I think in a mass group when we do these lives, it's the chaos I live in. It's a little much. So if I bring them in one by one, it's a lot more fun, and it'll allow y'all, kind of like the biographies on the website, but it will allow y'all to be able to get to know the kids, and maybe even the 7 youngest. I might start with them so you can kind of get to know them before we head out on trail. So I'll figure that out. But if y'all would like to see the kids and kind of an interview, and if y'all personally want to be able to ask them questions, let me know in the comments, and then we can make it happen. And I'll either go in birth order, which may struggle getting Grayson to do it. He's a little introverted. But so if not, we can do it start with Evie, whatever. She was on trail with us. But yeah, comment if you want to see the kids in lives and if that would interest you. And then if y'all have any other topics so that I don't just randomly just ramble every week, put that in the comments, because I would love to know what y'all would like to hear about, talk about, questions you have about the upcoming trip and stuff like that, how I prep for not having the adult kids around. So that's what a lot of these prep paddles are right now, is not having older kids. So we were able to get some good footage, and that will eventually roll right into the vlog, and y'all will be able to see it. So I am so not good at reading the comments after these are over. I would love to be able to respond to any comments y'all have left, but I have yet to figure out where the comments are, or if I reload the page, it doesn't show everybody's. And then I feel bad because I've left people out that actually did leave comments. So if y'all will go ahead and comment anything, I will personally, I'm more of a writer than I ever am a talker. So I will personally go back and answer your comments in writing, because that's easier for me that way. And it also makes me feel like I didn't miss people or I wasn't ignoring you. So on that note, we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us. And let me know what you want to hear us talk about or which kids you want to see interviewed. So see you next week. Y'all have a great one.